Okay, Papa G. So we've gone through the story of Joseph from Quran and Torah perspective. I think you've seen all the differences and what that means. I wanted to show you something else. I wanted to show you during my study of Quran, I noticed there are quite a few stories that have been mixed up. And I'm just going to give you one example of these stories, which is the story of Gideon, David, and King Saul around Goliath. So I'm going to read from Surah 3 and ayat 246 to 252. So it says, have you not seen those chief of the children of Israel after Moses? They said to one of their prophets, appoint for us a king, and we will fight in the cause of Allah. He said, are you not going to cower if ordered to fight? They replied, how could we refuse to fight in the cause of Allah while we were driven out of our homes and separated from our children? But when they were ordered to fight, they fled, except for a few of them, and Allah has perfect knowledge of the wrongdoers. That was Prophet Samuel. King Saul, ayat 247. Their prophet told them, Allah has appointed Saul to be your king. They protested, how can he be our king when some of us are more deserving of kingship than he, and he has not been blessed with vast riches? He replied, Allah has chosen him over you and blessed him with knowledge and stature. Allah grants kingship to whoever he wills, and Allah is all bountiful, all knowing. Their prophet further told them, the signs of Saul's kingship is that the ark will come to you, containing reassurance from your Lord and relics of the family of Moses and the family of Aaron, which will be carried by the angels. Surely in this is a sign for you if you truly believe. So I'll leave it there, and I just wanted to show you one thing here. So it says here, that the sign of Saul's kingship is that the ark will come to you, containing reassurance. Okay, so if we go to 1 Samuel chapter 4, we can see, I'm not going to read it all out, but we can see chapter 4, the Philistines capture the ark, the death of Eli. Okay, we go on to chapter 5, we see that the ark is in Ashdod and Ekron. Okay, we go on to chapter 6. We see the ark is returned to Israel. So it says, when the ark of the Lord had been with Philistine territory for 7 months, so it's been with the Philistines for 7 months. Um, and if we go on to chapter 7, we see, so the men of Kiriath Jearim came and took up the ark of the Lord. They brought it to the Anibad's house on the hill and consecrated Eleazar, his son, to guard the ark of the Lord. The ark remained at Kiriath Jearim a long time, 20 years in all. And then if we go into chapter 8, then Israel asks for a king. And then this talks about Saul being appointed as a king. So we go into chapter 9. Samuel anoints Saul, and Saul is appointed as king. And just going to show you, I'd like to read different versions just to bring it out, different translation rather. Um, and so we see he's appointed a king. So what I wanted to sort of highlight to you is that within within here, it's been told, within the Quran perspective, it's been told that the sign of Saul's kingship is that the ark will come to you. But we've just read from Torah perspective that the ark was returned before Saul was chosen to be king. So we see a contradiction there. And then if we look at who Saul is, from Quran perspective, he is somebody who's poor, as it says here. He has not been blessed with vast riches. Yet we see from Torah perspective, it says, there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abriel, son of Zerah, son of Bechorath, son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a man of wealth. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man. So we see that Saul comes from wealth. So again, another difference that we need to wrestle with. The Quran perspective is that Saul is poor, and the Torah perspective is that he is a man of wealth. Okay, then we're going to read on from Quran perspective from Ayat 249. It's Saul's victory. It says, when Saul marched forth with his army, he cautioned, Allah will test you with a river So whoever drinks his fill from it is not with me, and whoever does not taste it, except a sip from the hollow of his hand, is definitely with me. They all drank their fill except for a few. When he and the remaining faithful with him crossed the river, they said, "Now we are no match for Goliath and his warriors." But those believers who were certain they would meet Allah's reasoned, "How many times has a small force vanquished a mighty army by the will of Allah, and Allah is always with the steadfast." So this drinking of the water is quite key. If we go to Judges 7, so this is a story about Gideon, and Gideon is, you could say, one of the prophets, almost 150 years before King Saul. And I'll just read the key verse. It says, "But the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. Take them to the water, and I will thin them out for you there. If I say, this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say, this one shall not go with you, he shall not go." So Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told him, "Separate those who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink." 300 of them drank from cupped hands, lapping like dogs. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. The Lord said to Gideon, "With the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give you the Midianites into your hands. Let the others go home." So we see that this story is somehow made its way into the Quran perspective, but it's taken this story from Gideon, which is 150 years before Saul, and sort of entered it into the narrative of Saul. And with that, Saul marches with his army. Well, we know in the Torah perspective, and I won't read it just to save time, but it's actually David who goes alone to fight Goliath on a one-on-one battle and then defeats Goliath. Whereas from Quran perspective, Saul marched with his army, and then he talks about how many times a small force vanquished a mighty army. So we see in the story of Gideon that his army has been whittled down to 300 so that God can claim the glory of this. And then it says David kills Goliath. When they advanced to face Goliath and his warriors, they prayed, "Our Lord, shower us with preservation, make our steps firm, and give us victory over the disbelieving people." So they defeated them by Allah's will, and David killed Goliath. So here, from the Quran perspective, it's Saul, his army, and David who go all together to fight Goliath, and it's David who then kills Goliath. And Allah blessed David with kingship and wisdom and taught him what he willed, and so on and so forth. So it's really interesting that you see these different stories in the Torah. So we've looked at the differences between the old prophets from Quran perspective and Torah perspective, like Joseph, and now we're seeing stories in the Torah which have been sort of mixed up and then finds its way in the Quran's perspective. So we have here mixed stories. Um, yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to show and highlight here. All right, I'm eager to hear your thoughts, comments, and anything in between. All right, bye.